It's been a long wait to return, but the TSRC is finally back, and it is time for another Super Sprint series. Welcome back, folks. It is TSRC Super Sprint season number 2 here on the TSRC channel and the JP Broadcasting channel as well. My name is Kelsey Gill, back once more alongside Zach Sweeney, of course. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. It was a nice off-season because I didn't have to be here with you on a Thursday evening. But it's fine because we're back. And, of course, we're not back for the PC GT3 series here on ACC. We're back for the Super Sprint. Slightly altered format, of course, when it comes to the racing. Essentially, it's just a shortened season. But, of course, when it comes to the normal championship, it's very intense. Only 6 weeks. This one's only 4.
Yes, it's going to be quite interesting with 40-minute races. I believe this is just one qualifying session throughout the entire season, and then it's going to be based on the positions on the grid, and I believe reversed. If I read my rules correctly, I'm probably right, although there's a very big chance that I'm wrong. But either way, we find ourselves.
You've not researched properly.
I've researched
is that what you're
properly.
saying?
I've done my research. I just can't remember quite a lot of it.
Right.
Oh, it's been a few days, but anyway, we find ourselves at a circuit that I've grown to love more and more as we've been here, the Kyalami Grand Prix circuit in South Africa. This 4.529 kilometre circuit is fast and flowing at times, with many chances for overtaking around the 16 corners on the circuit. There are 6 rights and 10 lefts. The setup will be crucial if the drivers are going to get the most out of this track, and it's going to be quite an interesting opener to this Super Sprint season. Wouldn't you agree, Zach?
Yeah, absolutely. We were speaking to Kieran Sharp, who obviously does part of the running of behind the scenes, as to why is Kyalami allergic to any other position on the calendar than the season opener? Because of course the first ever round of the the Sim Racing Collective PC GT3 series was here at Kyalami. We've had a number of other season openers there as well, but for good reason. It's a fantastic circuit. FIA Grade 2, of course. Some people would like it upgraded to a Grade 1 so it can host Formula 1 once again, but I've always loved it. I think it's a really nice, fast-flowing circuit. Plenty of overtaking opportunities around heavy braking zones, slipstream zones, and also just as a circuit in general, it flows really nicely. Should have a good 40 minutes in store, I think.
Yeah, it's a fantastic place to go racing, and that run all the way down in towards turn 2 is fantastic. The track really just opens up. It really invites for a lot of moves, perhaps a lot of space to go side by side in towards that first corner after that in towards that second corner after that long straight there, the first corner being that little kink on the straight that starts off a lap around this circuit. But it's always been a fantastic place to come racing here. We've had some great races around here. I believe this circuit featured on the Super Sprint Championship calendar last season as well, so it's a double appearance for Kyalami, a track that's clearly a favourite.
Yeah, and as I say, for good reason, it is a phenomenal circuit. Speaking of circuits, by the way, let's take a quick look as to what we're going to be in store for today while we're watching the first set of lap times come in. We've got Kyalami today. Obviously, we're here. No surprise. In a week's time, we'll head to the Red Bull Ring. That is going to be a very, very interesting one. I believe the Red Bull Ring is fairly recent to ACC. Of course, most recently, big story, the Nürburgring is here. Of course, well, the bigger one, the Nordschleife. The Red Bull Ring, I believe, was the DLC before this. Then for the halfway point, or just after the halfway point, to go into the second half, we have Suzuka, then Barcelona to round off the 4-week championship. So yeah, I suppose we're going to have to get off to a blitzing start, really make sure that everything is fiery because, well, but as is usual, really, with TSRC stuff, by the time we've sort of actually gotten ourselves going, it's season finale.
Yeah, that's it. And it's just, I mean, it's short, sharp racing, isn't it? And it's over that 4-week period. It's going to be fantastic. And I've taken a look over the grid names. The Italian mafia or army or whatever you want to call them. They're back out in force on this grid, as you can possibly tell by there. But as what I've noticed is there aren't any previous champions that I'm aware of on this grid. So we're going to be crowning a new champion in this sprint series, which is very exciting. It could be any of these drivers. Could be Sydney there in the top, and the majority of drivers as well in the Ferrari car. You can see that sea of Ferraris that sort of goes up and down. There's a couple of Aston Martins, 5 that I can see on the timing tower. There's a rogue Bentley. Estevez deciding to drive that absolute unit of a car. There's the BMW of Mav Gardner as well. Car is favoured, and that's it really, other than the Porsche of Egner up there in P2. It's only a 10th of Sydney's time.
Yeah, very, very close, considering it is a 1-minute 40 lap time. So competition early doors looking strong, but can't read too much into it. Still over 9 minutes of the session left to go. Still plenty of opportunities to improve upon that time. Nicola Skrimer completing a lap time and will be heading their way back to pit lane to then rejoin the circuit and potentially improve on that 4th place. We've got Roberto Barbaro at the moment in the Ferrari 296. Can't blame them for choosing it. It's I suppose it is the meta car of ACC, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think ever since that physics update to the sim, it's been the Ferrari has been the car of choice. Everybody's been picking it, and a lot of drivers have had a lot of success in that car. I think the first champion since the physics update was I've forgotten his name. I was gonna come out with that stat, and now I've forgotten it.
Who are you thinking?
Oh, it's.
Do you want me to give you all the champions? I won't do them order.
Give me them all. Give me them all. I'll know them when I hear them.
We've got Thompson.
No.
We've got Smoggy.
No.
Nuttall.
Nuttall. It was Nuttall. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure it was Nuttall popping in that championship for a Ferrari during the PC GT3 series, which Zach and I have seen plenty of and do very much enjoy. And lots of I don't know how to describe that colour. It's like a clamshell blue, I suppose.
Don't ask me.
Put it. Yeah, I mean we all know Zach is infamously colourblind. So
who was it last season that I said was Senegalese and he was Belgian? Oh no.
Oh gosh, I'm awful with names. Faces I can do. Names, however, that's another story completely. Hello, DQ Dave in the chat, as well as Luca Becker in the chat as well. Hello. Hopefully you are enjoying the qualifying session so far. Saridi has topped the timing tables at the time, although Patrick Sidney is making his way around the circuit in toward the final corner now. Is he on a lap? Is he going to go faster and stretch that advantage he has in this qualifying session so far? Let's see as he comes up toward the line. He is. He's going to go that 10th quicker ahead of Saridi. This is looking like quite a close qualifying session.
Yeah, nicely done there from Patrick Sidney, of course, across the line. Very striking livery in the 14, I think. Well, I mean, it's Fernando Alonso's number, and that's Fernando Alonso's Kimura colour scheme, of course, that he fields on his karting team. So I think, obviously, with L Plan Racing in the bottom right there as well, that's what he's sort of going for as such. So, yeah, let's see if he's able to emulate some success. Fernando Alonso, of course, recently signing an extension with Aston Martin as well. So maybe it's a sign, it's an omen. The 14 in the L Plan with the Kimura colours after Fernando Alonso signs an extension. Surely today's the day.
Yeah, surely. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Although I was kind of disappointed that Fernando didn't extend it that little bit longer and keep us all waiting with all those rumours that he might go to Mercedes. Although he did say, I believe, in a post-race interview that Aston Martin are quicker, so why would he go there? Which was a very Fernando Alonso comment. I think everybody's a Fernando Alonso fan at this point.
Well, I was gonna continue the Sebastian Vettel quote, and even the Mercedes guys would, but I mean, he just basically, you know, shut the door in their face and said, "Nah, mate, you're too slow for us." At the moment, we've got Pierre Luigi Lelli at the moment, of course, P17, 6 seconds off the pole position time set by Sydney, who is out there once again, still on a lap time. And heading into the final corner, of course, let's see if he's able to improve. Saridi as well in P2, looking to move their way forward, potentially up into pole position. Still only 5 minutes left to go in the session, so you do have to get a move on. And he improves again, a 44.40. That is an insanely quick lap time. Let's see if anyone else is going to be able to get close, because you take him out of the equation, it's actually a fairly close qualifying.
Yeah, it is a very close qualifying amongst the rest of the grid. You've got less than a second separating the top 7 at the moment, and there's a few drivers who are very, very close together. Sims and Scrimmer, they're only a 500th of a second apart from one another out there at the moment. Klanovsky and Egner are very close as well, and that's almost 3 seconds or 3/10 of a second gap between Saridi and Sydney. Very, very close as well. Here's Dom Egner in his lime green Porsche, the lone Porsche amongst the sea of Ferraris and Aston Martins, and with the odd Bentley and BMW, making his way around the circuit. Let's see where he is. I think he's coming up to the final sector now. He's just gone through turn 10 and 11 by the looks of things. In towards turn 12 he goes, and then through into 13. Let's see how this lap plays out for the Porsche. Is it a good exit through turn number 13? It looks fairly tight through there, fairly tidy from the Porsche driver. One more corner to navigate now as he comes around to the final turn. Where is this going to place him in amongst the top 4 here? Is it going to put him any closer to pole position in that Porsche car? Crosses the line, little bit of an improvement, but isn't able to improve his position.
Yeah, in fact, that last time was actually 2 cents slower, 41.142 compared to the 49.62 that he had as his best time. Sobolski across the line as well, currently P10. Doesn't take much to see them up a couple of places. And wow, a couple of places they did go. The Italian catapults themselves up onto the second row of the field there in P3. Will be lining up directly behind Patrick Sidney for pole position as things stand. Looking at about 2 more laps if you start your lap, of course, within the next minute and, well, 50 odd, no, hang on, about a minute and 20 seconds or so for you to squeeze in another lap. If you start now, anything started beyond this, I believe, of course, you basically only get, well, 1 more complete lap in. Actually, no, you won't. Of course, if you, as long as you cross the line to start another lap before the check flag, you'll be able to finish a lap anyway. So you should be absolutely fine. But bottom line is there is only a couple more laps left to go in this session. Lely across the line, tips David up into the top 10. Nicely done. Be interesting to see what Sydney can do, and, well, interestingly, to see if anyone else, like Antonio Saridi, can even remotely get close at that front of the field. I mean, the race is long, but that qualifying pace is very, very promising.
Well, it sets you up for the start of the race, getting yourself at the front and ready there. And, well, if you can win that first round, you can go into some decent stead. I have triple checked the rules. It is reverse grid races from here on in after round number 1, of course. So you are going to be starting at the back and having to work your way forward. And it is a challenge. Sprint races require a certain amount of patience, and we're going to get to see some of that today, perhaps, from the drivers As Sydney goes even faster by by about a tenth of a second. He's gone quicker and made that gap almost 4/10 of a second between himself and Saridi.
Remarkable lap time put in. Has got time for one more should he so want it. We've got Salvador David as well through the final corner. Of course, the majority of the Italians, of course, taken to the prancing horse in true patriotism, I suppose. Patriotic, that's the word I was looking for. David, unfortunately, cannot improve up to the top 10, so we'll be looking to probably just start this race in P11 if he can't improve on this final round. Pierluigi Lelli, as well, at the moment on the fringes of that top 10, would like to stay there, preferably to give themselves the best foothold going into this 40-minute race. Across the line, what can the Italian do? And it's enough to top Paul Sims for P9.
They're slightly quicker, making up the places one by one. How about Dom Egner then? Is he on a lap this time in that Porsche? The German driver in the German car, making his way through the final sector of this Kyalami Grand Prix circuit. Hopefully this time, at least for him, he'll be hoping he can get his way up the grid. He's got a bit of traffic in the way, though. That might affect him as he makes his way through, although getting out of the way, I think that was the Bentley. Unmistakable size of that car, of course. Making its way through the final corner now. It's Egner. This is an improvement. That's very close. It's 0.04 of a second away from Sydney's time. That's more like it.
Yeah, that's the competition that we like to see, of course. Egner scrambling that previous lap before the one that he was able to put in, and well, he was able to poach P2. Nicely done from the Porsche driver, and a very sensational lap time indeed. Checker flag has flown. Final laps being put down in qualifying. Sydney, as things stand, is on pole position with Egner on the front row. Saridi can't improve, stays third. We've got Capitoni Cencelli at the moment 7th for them, about half a second, matching Glanovski's time to the millisecond as well. Very close, very competitive qualifying.
Yes, anybody else going to be able to improve their time? I think Rochi might have just gone a little bit faster there. How about Sobolski in his Ferrari, the number 19 car? Not a bad looking livery with the gold and white there, making his way around the circuit. I think still quite a long ways to go for him at the moment. Car number 19 coming through turns 8 and 9 right now. Out on the track. Is this going to be a put together lap for him? Let us find out as he continues his tour of this Kyalami circuit.
Yeah, about halfway through. This is Lloyd Kopp at the top end of the circuit. You rise up the hill, heavy braking zone into a blind apex left-hander, very crucial to get right. Paul Sims as well, P9 as things stand, heading into the penultimate corner here at Cheetah. Really got to be careful of that massive sausage curb on the inside. It can launch you, and time again, races, laps have been ruined by that inside curb. So, well, I suppose the corner name is to discourage you from being one. Don't be a cheater. Don't to cut this track too much. That's qualifying over. A very, very close fight at the front row indeed.
Yes, and it is Sydney at the top then after a great lap. And it was a great effort from Egner to try and close that gap on the top, but couldn't quite make it. But they makes up the front row anyway. Then we have Saridi, Rochi and Sobolski rounding off the top 5 with Glanovski, Cencelli, Sims, Grimmer and Lely rounding off your top 10. Then there's Redovid, Barbaro, Salvaneschi, Gardner, Schmietner, Miller, Foreman, Estevez and Troyer rounding off the rest of the grid for what will be a very interesting session, especially now that Elias Troyer has decided to make an appearance.
Yeah, well, exactly that. P19. Let's see, of course, number of silver championships under his belt. A very, very strong driver at that. Who's been able to, of course, compete at the top level of his respective classes. Will be starting at the back, similar to what we saw Dominic Eligna and Samuel Chumley do for the majority of the last PC GT3 season. So let's see what he can do in carving his way forward. How good of a racing circuit is Kyalami. He's got 40 minutes to gain as many places as he possibly can.
Yes, it's gonna be a very good test for Elias Troyer, I think, as he would be starting at the back, trying to cut his way through the field. We've seen some great racing from him, though, in the past, in the PC GT3 series, of course. And even in the Super Sprint last season, I believe he competed. I could be wrong. Either way, in the chat, Salvatore di Catania, more of the Italian mafia are in the chat now. Is Bravi M4R, he says, cheering on the M4R racing team. Fantastic.
Yeah, so camaraderie obviously going down over at M4R, loving each other, and of course cheering them on. Of course, we had Luca Becker there as well. All of them basically just grouped together and trying to uplift each other as much as possible. They're going to need it. Kyalami is a tough circuit to crack, and you are going to need to be on your absolute top game if you're going to succeed here, because one wrong move and, well, you can very quickly find yourself in the barrier. So you have got to be on your toes. You've got to be sharp. You've got to be having your wits about you. And at the end of the day, consistency over all. But that qualifying session, very, very close. That fight for the lead at the front, I hope, is going to be pretty good.
Yeah, let's hope so. We don't want anybody running off of it too soon in the race. Otherwise, we'll be left with enough to talk about, but not as much excitement as we would like from a race. That's all we always want to see as racing fans. We want to see a scrap for the lead. We want to see 2 or 3 cars really going at it, and we've certainly seen it over a few times as well. But let's see as we go into this. We're about to go onto the formation lap. Away they go for the racing. And Zach, well, we've been in this position many a time with a formation lap. Just what is going through the heads of these drivers as they make their way from their grid slots?
Well, I mean, essentially, there could be a lot of different emotions. It all depends on the style of driver and the mentality of the driver, the experience of the driver, how well they are at composing themselves, or how well they are at riding that wave of adrenaline. Those that are in a good position, so Sydney, Egner, Saridi, Rochi, all of those on the front 2 rows are going to be feeling excitement. They're going to be feeling nerves, shaky, all of that sort of mix of emotions as such. I remember whenever I was on a grid and, you know, on the off chance that I did ever qualify well, that feeling that you had, the pressure of pole position, you know, your chest gets tight, everything starts to sort of feel a little bit restricted, and you feel sort of almost cold as such. Even if you're nice and warm, everything seems to be a little bit shaky. Everything seems to be, I don't know, not necessarily normal as such, not necessarily comfortable. You need to just rein that in. You need to, you know, breathe, deep breaths, do your pre-race ritual, focus on something is the main thing. Because the moment that you start letting your mind run away with things, it is the moment that you are going to be making mistakes. So pinpoint a target. For Sydney, that's going to be a good start. Inside for turn 1, stay in the lead. For Egner, that might be stay in P2. That might be attack for the lead. Whatever it is, you need to give yourself something to focus on as to not self-destruct.
Yeah, it's very important to set yourself up right at the start of the race, and then once you can get yourself nice and quickly into that rhythm, then you can start being consistent. And with consistency comes speed, and with speed comes good results. But you can't have one without the other, I don't think. It's a lesson that all sim racers and all real life racers as well must learn, sometimes the hard way, sometimes it's slightly easier to learn those lessons. But either way, it's the most important thing in any form of racing, is to try and be as patient and as consistent as you can in order to be going fast. And Zach, before we get going, who are we putting in for the win as the BMW of Estevez? As not the BMW, the Bentley of Estevez has gone spinning.
You literally just said you couldn't mistake the size of it. How have you called that a BMW? That's disgraceful.
Both start with a B, okay? Who's winning the race, Zach?
Well, you're not winning any Simi anytime soon, I can tell you that much. Well, we'll find out, I suppose. I'm going with Sydney. I've got faith in Sydney.
Okay, Sydney. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna join the M4R fans and put Saridi in the win. But we're coming around the final corner now. We're about to get this first round of the Super Sprint Season 2 here with the TSRC. We're waiting for those green flags so that we can go racing here in Kyalami. The line is approaching. Where is that marshal with his green flag? Where is it? It's coming. It's eventually coming. There it goes. The green flag is on. And we are racing. And it's side by side between Sydney and Egner. All the way down in towards turn number 2. This is going to be fantastic. Who is going to brake later? The Ferrari or the Porsche? The Porsche tries to go all the way around the outside. Isn't able to get the job done. But is still side by side with Sydney. This is fantastic racing between them both. But the car number 14... Paul of Sydney, sorry, is in the lead.
Yeah, nicely done. Up and under from Dom Egner as well. He's going to be looking to go to the outside of turn 4. That's going to be the long way around, but I think the Porsche might have the agility to do so. Beautiful move to take the lead of the race. Sensational stuff from Egner as he piles his way up into the lead of the race. Beautifully done. And well, Sydney, I don't think really wanted to fight that one too much. Remarkable stuff, using what the Porsche does exactly best, and well, selling his way into the lead.
Yeah, really utilising the agility of that Porsche. We talk about it all the time here in these GT3 streams of which car is best suited to circuits and which car is best suited to certain drivers as well. And it just takes a certain way of driving to get the best out of some of these cars sometimes. And that was a fantastic move from Egner. Very brave to hold it in. And here is Schmittner going side by side. I think that is with Redovid in his black Ferrari there, making his way through. It is with Redovid. No, it was not with Redovid. Barbaro, I apologise. It's hard to tell with this timing tower sometimes.
I think it's just a skill issue, but no, ACC is well, because basically it refreshes every sector as opposed to live, like literally any other sim. But it's fine. We won't sort of rinse Kunos too much, just in case. You know, you never know. Midas Racing, of course. Dom Egner under pressure here at the front of the field, actually under threat from Sydney, who's actually got Rochi trying to pick his way past as well in that Aston Martin. So 3 cars nose to tail for the fight for the lead. Beautiful stuff. Egner, of course, immediately under pressure. Let's see what's going to go on between these guys then, because, well, the more Egner defends, the more drivers are going to be involved in this battle.
Yeah, I think Sydney does look like he might be the faster driver, but I'm not sure. It's hard to tell. We're too early into this 40-minute race at the moment in order to really get a good grip of it. But you can just see with how Sydney is so close to the back of that Porsche. He's very much gearing up for a move. He took a little look as they went down towards turn number 8, decided against it. Some oversteer on the Porsche there as they make their way through turn 9 and up the hill in towards turn number 10. And this is fantastic stuff already. We've got some very close scraps. This bodes well for the race. Remember, there is a pit stop in this race. The drivers must make one mandatory pit stop within the 20-minute pit window, which will open up at the 30-minute mark.
Yeah, and well, 30 minutes to go as such, the 10-minute mark of the race, and then we'll have the pit window open. They don't only get 10 minutes to pit. That would be a little bit harsh, I think. But maybe it would spice the race up a little bit. Bartek Sobolski there, and that is 3 wide into the final corner. Goodness me, we've got, oh wow, huge incident. Of course, Sydney was going slow through the exit of the penultimate corner. Not entirely sure as to who was involved with that one. I think it might well have been Rochin Glanovsky.
They're 3 into 1, especially that final corner there never goes well, and you can see why. That was absolute chaos. I think it was Rochi in his Aston Martin that went spinning round. He got tagged by Sydney. He was on the inside of the corner, and it must have been Glanovsky who was the 3rd car involved in that incident as he's got back going again and on the road. But that was a huge incident between 3 cars. I wonder if we'll see a replay. Wink, wink, Sharpie, if possible. But
wow, the power of lead commentary has really gone to your head, hasn't it? Wow.
Yeah, it was just a suggestive one. There it is. Sharpie provided the goods. Look at that, 3 wide they go. It wasn't Glanovsky, but you think he might have been caught up in it.
Yep.
Oh, he's so unfortunate. Oh my word, that was 3 into 1. It never goes well, does it? But it was. I don't know which Ferrari it was that was involved in that. I might have to look back on the stream itself, but that was a very, very risky stuff.
I mean, you could just ask Sharpie for another replay. I'm sure he wouldn't mind. Because, you know, whenever I try and hit at a replay, he doesn't care. But no, Kelsey Gill, his Lord and Saviour, comes in and boom, it's fine.
Not
Favourite
jealous, are you,
commentator?
Sam?
No, it's fine. I've not been here since the start of the PC GT3 series. Or anything. No, it is what it is. But no, in all seriousness, yeah, 3 into 1 didn't work. Sydney, for whatever reason, was slow. I think it was then Rochi in the Aston Martin that obviously pinched, got sideways, and then unfortunately Klanowski was just caught up in the sort of the crossfires. Wasn't really his fault at all. He was just collateral damage in the whole entire skirmish of it. Patrick Sydney, though, of course, our pole sitter, now on a bit of a fight back, trying to carve their way back through the field. Fortunately for them, the issues have happened right at the start of the race, which means he's got plenty of time to recover.
Yeah, he does. And having another look at this incident then, on at least from my perspective, I'll give you what I can see. But yes, they do go 3 wide into the corner and they pinch the Aston Martin on the inside. Then the Aston spins, hits the side of Sydney's car, spins further, collects Klanowski in it. The third car involved was Sobolski in his white and gold Ferrari, who could have tried to leave a bit more room, maybe didn't realise that Sydney was on the inside there as well. It's one of those things that happens sometime in racing. And honestly, I don't think any of the drivers were really at fault for that incident there, if I'm putting my stewarding cap on at the moment. But either way, Sydney has got it all to do now. He's got to channel his inner Fernando and be racing as fast and as intelligent as that legend does.
Yeah, very much so. And let's see. Of course, putting yourself right in the crossfire with putting your shooting cap on, and goodness me, that is why you do not take the curb at the penultimate corner. Patrick Sydney into the pit lane before the pit window is open, so we'll have to come in once again. What has happened to the pole sitter? I'd assume he's got damage or something of that kind, but that is remarkably unfortunate. We've got Saridi under pressure from Sobolski as well. The battle between the two Ferraris as the race leader Egner continues to pull away to now 2 seconds ahead of the number 10 machine. That is a remarkably nice Ferrari 296 livery. The white and the gold looks very nice, angelic almost, as he tries to chase down P2.
Yeah, it does look very, very nice. Here's Schmittner in his Ferrari going side by side with what looked like Barbaro in the number 8 car there. That was a decent little overtake. He's got the Estevez now to hunt down in that huge Porsche. Look at the size of that thing.
The what? The
Damn it,
what?
I did it again. The Bentley.
No, listen, BMW I can give you. Porsche?
Oh dear. I'm actually testing you, Zach. That's really what's going on here.
No! No, you're not. I can't see colours. You clearly can't see the difference between what cars are out on track. Goodness me, it's a good thing they're on Ferrari, so at least you've got a decent chance of getting it right.
Oh my word, that Bentley's gone again, deep into the...
Oh, well done.
Oh dear, any chance to berate me? Notice how I don't... Oh, that was an incident as they've gone side by side there. Oh, that was very much close to ending in tears. My word. Thumbs up stream, guys, if you think Kelsey needs to go back to Specsavers. Sharpie, what are you doing? I thought we were friends. He's coming at me in the chat now. Oh dear, I'm just lucky that Fish and Stu aren't here as another incident occurs involving Schmittner and his Ferrari. Oh!
Oh no.
Oh my word, that was a comedy of errors right there.
Oh, even more.
One. Oh, come on, what is going on here?
Absolute shambles, ladies and gentlemen, both the commentary booth and, of course, out on circuit. I think it was all... I think he's cursed by having his windscreen wipers on, is Schmittner. Of course, I don't know if that was netcode or what, but to me it looked, for the most part, like the Aston Martin clipped his rear left on the other Aston Martin as such. Of course, the Midas Racing 213 was able to get back going once again, of course, of Kasper Schmittner. But, yeah, that was not ideal by any of them, and that is nowhere near the apex through turn number 3 either. 30 minutes left to go in this race, by the way, and it's very, very close at the front between this fight for P2, 3, and 4 as well. Capitone, Cencelli just in behind. You've then also got Paul Sims about a second and a half back, so not a million miles off this battle either. So really just doing a brilliant job as to maintain that P2.
Yeah, Sydney, by the way, he looks like he has retired from the session. You can see his car right down the bottom there, no gap. So he is out of this race, and that is a huge shame for him. An incident that, you know, wasn't overly anyone's fault occurring, dropped him down, and then a lapse of concentration, hitting an awful, awful curb, I must say. If that was real life, the driver would have been, well, possibly hurt in that one in some way. Considering how violent that he hit that curb and how quickly he hit it as well. Sausage curbs or big curbs like that, folks. I don't know why they're still a thing in motorsport, but hey ho.
Yeah, it was the I think it was the European Le Mans series at Monza of last year, where an Aston Martin at the Roger, of course, that second chicane took off because of the sausage curb. Alex Peroni back in 2019, I believe, as well, or it might have been 2020. F3 at Monza took off on the exit of the Parabolica because of anti-cut curbs. They're fine until you use them, and then they're not. Of course, if you hit them sort of straight, you should be fine. It's the moment you hit them at speed and hit them at an angle that they really become a huge, huge problem. So hopefully these guys are going to keep it nice and clear. Pit window is now open into Le Cobb, of course, with Bartek Sobolski still hammering the pressure on to Seredi. And Phil, what? Hang on, he's just come into the chat and has said that now you see what James has to put up with me. That makes no sense. It should be what I have to put up with you, right? I'm not the victim here. Well, no, I am the victim here. I am the victim here.
Oh dear.
It's wrong.
I put my Crofty hat on this morning. That's what I decided to do. Oh dear.
Only this morning?
Only this morning.
Have you ever taken it off? It's like that scene in Matilda where he super glues it to his head. That's you with your Crofty cap. You just never take it off.
I'm not that bad as Crofty. Oh, Sydney's car has come back out onto the grid just in front of this battle in P2 here. Gets out of the way, of course, but that was a strange one. Decided to rejoin the race, perhaps. Maybe they were repairing his damage. I'm not really sure what was going on there, but his car's back out on the grid. I'm not sure if AI tends to take over at a certain point in ACC. I've not really played. I haven't played it at all. So
essentially, Sydney would have come in, repaired his damage. I'd assume there was going to be some substantial suspension, maybe some wheel alignment out, his toe or his camber or something that was dramatically out. Brought it into the pit lane, fixed it, and he's back out again, albeit multiple laps down and not really with much hope of going for it. Rochi is the only driver at the moment to have ticked off that mandatory stop. As you can see, that column next to their driver number, if it's orange with a 1 in it, that means they haven't ticked off their mandatory stop, which is just in and fuel. And then, of course, they have to then, well, once they've done that, then gets ticked to a green, and then they have to complete the next stint of the race to get to the checker flag. I mean, well, they don't have to, but if they want to succeed, it does help.
Irony of Sydney's situation there is that he's rejoined exactly where he was on the road at the very least, just not on paper or as far as laps completed are concerned, which is very ironic, as Mav Gardner's BMW gets very much too much curb, and that's going to invite the Ferrari of Salvinisci to make a pass perhaps, or get very close, but never mind, because he's peeled into the pit lane for his stop, the second driver to do so.
Yeah, so we'll be peeling in, still waiting, of course, for those at the front. When it comes to strategy, really, with these 40-minute races, it's not going to be a case of, say, an endurance racing where you really think long-term and you have to really take care of your tyres and your fuel, and to an extent you do. Particularly your tyres, if you're not changing them, you want some life left in them at the end of the race. what comes with strategy and the differences in it is timing and circumstance. If you come in right at the beginning of that pit window and you rejoin in traffic, that's your problem. And you then have to fight through that traffic. You then have to deal with being surrounded by loads of other cars, and you haven't timed it. You haven't given the circumstance a proper chance, which means that you've lost time. Those that wait, those that are patient, those that spot a gap, those that go for an undercut or an overcut are going to be the ones to succeed. Have they done anything drastically different? Not really. They might have entered and exited the pit lane a little bit better. They maybe was able to dip the clutch back to get going once again out of the pit box. But when it comes to strategy, there's not going to be many deviances, whether they're, not many people see it's worth to change tyres. So most people don't. Fuel as well is capped at 35 seconds, so they don't even need to worry about how much fuel they're putting into the car. All of it comes down really to circumstance and timing, and if you can get that right, there's actually a decent chunk of time in it.
Yeah, for sure, and I think it also comes down as well to how the race has gone at that start of the race as well. If you're in the position of Egner right now, side by side goes Schmietner and the Bentley there, I think this might be a move done, although that Bentley goes at the outside and oh dear, and they come together again, and round goes Schmietner as well. Estevez round 2. I don't think he quite left enough room as he intended to there, perhaps, whether that was definitely not on purpose, but a definite big mistake from Estevez, the Spanish driver. Unfortunate.
In what car?
In the Bentley. He's in the
Nice.
Bentley. The Bentley, Bentley.
Imagine if you spelt it wrong. Oh, that would have been hilarious.
That would have been the final nail in the coffin, I think.
Wow. Kelsey Gill, ladies and gentlemen, you will not see him return ever. He will be locked at the Bentley HQ for those that want to find him. He'll just be shown PowerPoints of every Bentley possible. Funnily enough, actually, coming up is the Donington Historic Festival, which celebrates Bentley's 100th year since winning Le Mans for the first time, of course, in 1914, back in day. And also have done it a couple of other times since. They went on a streak of winning it, I think, 4 times in 6 years or something like 4 times in 5 years maybe, over into the late 1920s into the early 30s, then came back with the Speed 6, of course, in recent times to try and hedge a charge at Le Mans. A couple of podiums to their name as well. So Bentley, definitely a historic brand and definitely one that Kelsey Gill should know.
Oh, definitely. 100%. I know it. I know it. Don't you worry about that. As Egner, leader, into the pits. And as I was saying about strategy as well, if you were in Egner's position, you're able to keep those tyres in a nice condition, then you are able to pit without needing to take tyres on your stop. Whereas if we're in a position where you're fighting for places, going side by side, having to push that a little bit harder, then you are likely going to have to really seriously think about whether you want to take tyres or not.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is that you can change tyres while you're fueling in ACC. So you effectively get 35 seconds of a tyre change for free because you're already fueling anyway. You're stopped in the pit box anyway. So you probably only lose maybe 5-10-ish seconds doing it by changing tyres. The problem lies is, if you go half the race on one set of tyres, then you change, lose 5-10 seconds, and then go again for another set, are you going to get a return on that investment?
That is the question there. That is what we're all wanting to know from the strategy. It's just very hard to tell sometimes as well when you don't have well, I mean, I certainly don't have the maths know-how in order to work it all out, at least on the fly as well. Maths is not my strong point. I'm very much able to
what?
present.
What is your strong point, Kelsey?
My strong point is presenting, okay? Showmanship. And yes, I might make mistakes, but don't we all, Zach? The next time you make a mistake, I
don't make mistakes,
gonna
mate.
rinse you into the ground. It's gonna be absolutely. You don't make mistakes. So that guy was from Senegal, was he?
Well, nah, I don't make mistakes this season. Yeah, I mean, he might have been. You never know. He might have ancestors from Senegal. Who knows? But yeah, no, it's not great. But my only mistake, my biggest regret, was getting you in for that round 3 at Imola a couple of seasons ago. I think it was season 4 for the TSRC. Or was it season 3? I think it was season 4.
No, season 3.
Was it? Okay, you
Yeah, it
remember.
was
There we go.
season 3. I
See,
remember.
I didn't. Well, it was a meaningless day for me. It didn't really,
She
change much.
lies.
It's fine. It's tough love in the in TSRC commentary booth at the moment. Halfway through the race, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, 20 minutes, 28 seconds left to go. Nicolas Skrimer at the moment P3 in the 998 Aston Martin. Of course, M4R looking very, very strong, leading the way with Suridi at the helm. Of course, we did just see our race sort of dominator of Dom Egner at the moment come in, of course, in that Porsche. He's at the moment in P10, but after pit stops funneling themselves out, he should come out in the lead, or at least he's going to hope that he comes out in the lead.
Yeah, we'll see. Some clear air for Suridi and those behind as well. It's going to be quite interesting. Saying in the chat, Salvatore is saying that Rochi is driver of the day there at the moment. Oh, I'm not sure about that. He's still way down. We'll see. We've still got plenty of time to go. We're over halfway through the race now, so plenty of time left to go. There's plenty of pit stops left to be resolved there as well. When Paul Sims come to the pits, I had a thought about Paul Sims' livery. Take a look at it from the front and tell me if you think it looks like an angry penguin.
What?
Look, I've been deadly serious. I think of the penguins in Mario, right? Take a look at it and tell me it doesn't look like an angry penguin.
Penguins in Mario?
Yeah.
What penguins in... Well, hang on. Penguins in Mario. Images. Hang on. Oh! Yes, maybe it does.
It does.
Maybe... Oh! No, I know what you mean. The film. Okay, yeah, no, I'm with you. And just generally. Yeah, no, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Of course, Super Mario wasn't really my upbringing as such. I'm a little bit too young for that. But I have got a Switch, and I did have a Wii. But yeah, no, I understand what you mean. I think that's a bit harsh, though. I think you just went for a blue and yellow colour scheme. So...
I mean, it looks good, but I just can't unsee it now. Like I've
don't know if he's going to have...
thought in my mind every lap I've seen Paul Sims' car, and it's just been this thought of it looks like an angry penguin. That yellow's the beak, and then there's the blue, and there's the eyes of the headlights. It just looks like an angry penguin. Chat probably don't know what I'm going on about either. I don't know. Let me know if you do. But I think it looks what it looks like.
What car is it? First and foremost.
It's Ferrari, I'm pretty sure. Paul Sims, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Good job. There's Nicolas Skrimer in the Aston Martin Vantage, by the way. He's coming into the pit lane. Yeah, basically, just look forward to the rest of the season. Me absolutely slating Kelsey Gill for anything that he that goes wrong. Here's Dom Egner, by the way, who has had an absolutely cracking race all the way through. It's been excellent for him. At the moment, P5, but effectively on track P1. 17 minutes left to go in this race, and yeah, it's been sensational stuff. I mean, that start of the race was crucial from the front row to get himself past the Ferrari, of course, the pole sitter of Patrick Sidney, then able to find his way past, then able to really capitalise when things went a little bit Pete Tong for the 14 machine. And, well, since then, he's not really looked back. His pace has been absolutely staggering.
Yeah, he has. He got past Sydney with very little effort, and then really went for it after that, and he's looking very much in line to find himself back in the lead. I'm just having a look at the track map right now. No, Suridi has undercut him big time. He has gained a lot of time. His Skrimer looks like he might be in between them. No, not quite. But 58 car is... No, that's the wrong car completely as well. There you go. I think it has updated now. Almost. No, I'm looking for the 998. There it is. Okay, the timing tower still hasn't updated, but I can see it on my pit wall in front of me. But Suridi has undercut. Could my prediction of Suridi winning the race actually come true, unless Egner can close him down? Let's see. Oh gosh, exciting.
Very much is. Again, the weird thing about ACC, I don't know why it is, but there are sometimes some huge discrepancies as, oh, there's that Porsche beached at the top of the hill here at Le Coq. Of course, it's not a Porsche, it's Estevez in the Bentley. Of course, slightly stranded there, down in 17th place. But yeah, for Suridi, I don't know what it is, but I've had experience of this as well, and it's just remarkably different pit stall times. Some people, for not really any understandable reason, can gain seconds at a time. I think it's got something to do with maybe their pit entry there and their pit exit, also their pit stall as well, restarting the engine if they had to cut it off, or dropping the clutch, whatever it is. Maybe there is a little bit of a difference in that. You've also then got stopping in your pit box. I had a situation at the Hungaroring once where I was leading the race, missed my pit box, had to reverse, stopped, missed it again, pulled forward, stopped, then switched my engine off, then it was able to go. And I lost about 12 seconds to the race leaders because of that. By the end of the race, I was able to catch up and still managed to get a podium. So, you know, it is what it is. But it can happen. And weirdly enough, there is some big discrepancies in that. We will be interested to see who wins this race, though. Ceridi or Egner, it could well be a fight to the line.
It could very much be. It depends who's got the pace to keep it going. And I don't know, did Ceridi take tyres or did Egner take tyres perhaps? I'm not sure. It's always hard to tell, really. You can't really see what's going on with the cars when they're coming into the pits. You have to try and guess with the timings exactly what is going on with each car, although I'm sure Sharpie will update us if he does know that information. I want to say wink, wink, nudge, nudge again, but I'm sure he'll I'm sure I don't need to. But we'll see if Egner can close it down. I was thinking it's either Dominic Aligner has changed his name, or he's just not here, or it's just a coincidence that Dom Egner and Dom Aligner are very similar names.
I think it's just a coincidence.
Yeah.
You've got Dominic Aligner and Dom Egner. I don't know. The names end in ER, and they could both short. Well, I suppose you can't really shorten Dom to Dom, but you can definitely shorten Dominic to Dom. But I mean, he's driving like Dominic Aligner would, just not, of course, in the
Audi.
Audi, of course, yeah, the German driver. See, so you remember? No, so you remember what car Dominic Aligner drives? Do you remember what car Maurice Stryker drove?
It's the Honda.
Vyacheslav Volodya? What does he drive?
Oh, he was in a Mercedes at one point.
He was, exactly. Sure. So how can you remember the most random facts about cars, but you can't look at a Bentley and tell me it's a Bentley?
I don't know.
What is this?
It's just the way my mind works, I suppose.
It's a very, very strange place. And one that I don't have to put over for much longer. Only 13 minutes left to go of this race. And yeah, 3 minutes left of the pit window. I am absolutely horrible. Dara Thacker is in the chat, by the way. I absolutely rinse him on a broadcast because it's just funny. I enjoy it. It's just it is great banter. As that particular gift that he would always share when anyone really takes the mick out of him. A little bit wide from the Aston Martin, I think, of Rochi just ahead of Lely. But I feel horrible because you've done nothing wrong to me. Dara is an absolute legend. He's literally put in hours of unpaid labour to sort out a spreadsheet for me for an upcoming commentary gig that I've got in Kent this weekend. And yet it still won't stop me from making short jokes on broadcasts. He doesn't even need to be on the broadcast. I will still make them. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just a horrible person. Maybe karma will bite back.
Zach is very mean.
I am horrible. I'm only 17. I'm like that little ankle biter dog that you get. But to be fair, to be fair, karma did get me yesterday. Oh, the day before yesterday. I took my little siblings out for a nice day out, you know, treated them, whatever. And I said, you know, as payment, you can all clean my car, because why not? You know, I'm horrible. In doing so, my little sister, she left the door open. My car locks after a while. And when it locks, the door was still open, so the alarm went off. She panicked, ran inside to try and get someone. When she ran inside, the door shut, with my keys and her phone on the dashboard. So I had to break into my own car, rung up the RAC, they wanted 160 quid to come fix it. Autoglass wanted £600 for new glass, so I couldn't exactly smash my way in either. So yeah, I think I did get my serving of karma. Maybe it's a lesson learned. Will I learn it though? Probably not.
Oh, I don't know. It's all very much, I don't know. Zach, you'll get what's coming to you next time you make a mistake. You mark my words, young man. Anyway, let's have a look. It's Pierre Lely on the back. Pierre Luigi Lely back on the back of. Who is he on the back of? It is Rochi there as well. The driver of the day, according to Catania in the chat there. uh, at the moment, and he is driving relatively well, although he was up there in that top 4 all but briefly before that incident happened. And Cerini now, I think, definitely deserves a good shout for driver of the day there as well. And of course, there is also Capitone Sencielli there as well in P3, who snuck his way up there as well. I'll try and find out where he started on the grid for you, but there has been some great racing out there despite all the incidents.
Yeah, I mean, the fight for the lead that we saw originally, of course, when Egner went around the outside of turn 5, that long right-hander was sensational. Great respect between himself and Patrick Sidney, of course, to get that one done. 10 minutes left, 1.5 seconds to fight for the lead. Hopefully we can see a battle for the race lead. Otherwise, Seredi is going to be pulling off an absolutely worldy of a strategy. In the background, just in behind Bartek Sobolski, this fight for P7, you've got Rochi versus Lely. Of course, the Aston Martin duo, P7 and P8. Be interesting to see who comes out on top in those two. And I can't unsee the penguin on Paul Sim's car now.
You see what I mean? I saw it one time, and now it just looks like an angry penguin. It's fantastic. It really
also,
does.
Speaking of, if you look up the Nürburgring Nordschleife combined, it will look like a pig. In fact, hang on, I will get it for you. And those at home, everyone watching at home, go search a picture of the Nürburgring combined track map, and you'll see what I mean. And you won't be able to unsee the pig with what it is. Hang on, let me find Nordschleife versus Grand Prix. There it is. There it is. I will hang on. Copy image, and I'll sling it over to you guys. You won't be able to unsee where the pig is. Once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it, and I will have completely ruined the Nürburgring for you in its entirety. So yeah, there we go. You've ruined my perception of Paul Sim's Ferrari. I've now just ruined your perception of the Nürburgring Nordschleife.
Where have you put this? I don't know where this is.
Yeah,
oh, I see. Oh, no, I see it. Yeah. No, I see it big time.
Pig time.
Fantastic. Pig time. Oh, my word. There you go. Not that I was that attached to the Nordschleife's track map, but...
If Fish was a track map, he'd be Snetterton. What's that supposed... What you said about Snetterton? Hang on. What's wrong with Snetterton's track map? Oh, what, the squid? Oh, what, because the massive head at Quorum? Oh, that's horrible. That's brilliant, but that's horrible.
Well, I've been joking around. Egner has caught right onto the back of Seredi. There is a race on for the lead here in the last 8 minutes of this first round of super sprints. Car number 10 and car number 2, they are chasing each other up the hill as they go along. And here's that Porsche trying to use the nimbleness of that lime green car to make his way around the outside of the Ferrari. No dice on this occasion. Seredi's going to have to make that car as wide as possible. I'm sure the M4R fans will be cheering as much as they can, but here comes Egner around the outside in towards turn 13. Is he going to go for the switchback of dreams and cut alongside the Ferrari? The Ferrari shows him the door at least, or tries to, and has to cut back in. Does Egner to stay in P2, but he's got a long straight coming up. Is he going to be able to make this move?
Well, we'll find out. Of course, Egner, you're not yoking around at all. So really wanting to stay in front as he's been commanding this second stint of the race. 7 minutes on the clock. Let's see what Dom Egner can do. Down the hill towards turn number 1. Not quite close enough for a move on the brakes, but plenty more opportunities around the lap.
Yes, there is, certainly. And we saw what sort of moves he's capable of. And he went for that wider line to get the better exit and the later apex, and it's paid off a little. He's all over the back of this Ferrari, but Seredi trying to make his car as wide as possible. If the M4R fans could, I'm sure they'd attach themselves to the sides of that Ferrari. And here comes the Porsche again. Egner looking to the outside, looks to the inside now as they go down the hill. Looks onto the outside again. This is fantastically close racing between the two of them. Egner's trying everything as they make contact, and how they're still both going in a straight line, I do not know. Egner managed to hold onto that one masterfully behind the wheel of that Porsche. That was very, very close.
Yeah, remarkable stuff. Great respect shown between the pair of them. Into the braking zone of Loicombe, not quite close enough to see the Porsche through, but he is practically pushing the Ferrari 296. Serradi doing everything in his power to stay ahead through the very fast left-hander, and the Porsche is already eyeing up the move into the braking zone. Serradi covers it off by extending the steering, but around the outside, no way is he going to pull this one off. Tries to keep his foot in, is going to do exactly that towards the penultimate corner.
Oh, and he's got another corner. Does he go for that switchback? No, he's very, very bold to try that move. And the more they fight, the more chance that Sencelli, who started P7, by the way, I did find out where he started for you, is going to draw ever closer to them. Just lurking in the background is the other Ferrari. Two Ferraris, two Italian drivers against the German of Egner in the German Porsche car. Down the inside he goes. Egner muscles his way in. He says, I'm coming through. I've had enough of the bumper of that Ferrari. And he makes his way through turn 2 and retakes the lead of this race. But is it over? Is Serradi going to come right back at him?
Well, we'll find out. Serradi, of course, not going to let go of this race lead without a battle all the way to the end. Also, Capitone Cencelli not a million miles away, looking to the inside of Serradi, but unfazed is Dom Egner, who takes the lead of the race. Let's see what he can do in order to get away.
He's going to have to really put in the pace now, put in the laps. Serradi looking not too much slower. He's keeping with him. He's keeping him honest, but a few little mistakes from Serradi that could cost him some time. Sencelli, though, has really been putting in the laps. He's closed in by about 2 seconds over the last lap and a half or so, and Serradi is going to be there trying to fight his way through. Could it be an M4R 1-2, I wonder, in this first round of the Super Sprint? Who knows? Riding on the dashboard there, as you can see, the gap between the two cars, and Egner just trying to pull away. He's trying to edge that Porsche away from Serradi's Ferrari, but braking incredibly late. That sent him deep. That's going to lose him some time on the exit of turn number 14 there, as they make their way through into the penultimate corner, and off the circuit goes Serradi. Just a little bit too much curb. Is this the end of his hopes at the lead of this race?
Maybe so, unless there's a mistake from Dom Egner. Antonio Serradi drove this race so well when it came to the strategy, but unfortunately the Porsche's might was too much for him to handle, and Egner was able to find his way through. It was well held for as long as it was, and to be fair to Serradi, he's done a brilliant job at the very least giving himself a chance, at the very least putting himself into the race lead. Not enough to hold it, but even if he walks away with a P2, that's not bad going at all. Capitone Cencelli as well there in P3, looking very strong. Here's a battle between the Penguin and the Angel, between, of course, Sims and Sobolski. This for the top 5.
Yeah, this is going to be a good fight as well. And as you were saying about Serradi, a P2 in a sprint championship is nothing to scoff at. Because remember, after this round, the next 3 are going to be reverse championship order. That would mean, of course, Schmietner would start perhaps on pole position if he was there at the next event, of course, in the championship standings. Maybe 13 laps down, though. I don't know if he scores points for not finishing a certain amount of race. Then Estevez in the Bentley would certainly be in for a shout at a pole position, perhaps in race number 2. And the likes of Egner, Serradi, Cencelli, Scrimmer, Sims, they'd all have to fight their way through back toward those top 5 places, and anything can happen, especially if you're not patient in this format of racing. Sobolski close to the back of Paul Sims' car. Can he make anything work as they exit turn number 13? Not quite. He's looking relatively quick, though. This could be a nice little scrap between the 2 Ferrari cars of Sims and Sobolski, the Angel and the Angry Penguin. He's even got the ice, the snow bits on there as well. It's all coming together. I think there's a snowflake on the side of that car, I'm pretty sure I saw.
Maybe so. 1 minute 40 on the clock. This is going to be the penultimate lap of this race. Sobolski trying to find the gap on Paul Sims, but no way through. They are actually closing in on to Scrimmer as well, that 998 machine for P4. So that'll be very, very interesting to see what they can do in their particular pursuit forwards. And well, now 1 minute 20 on the clock. As I say, penultimate lap of the race. This and one more. Egner seems secure for the victory, but this battle for 4th, well, anything but certain.
Yeah, it is very, very close, and Sims is really putting in the times, or perhaps Scrimmer just doesn't quite have the pace. And A three-car fight all the way to the line is a very exciting prospect for this race. There's been plenty of action, plenty of drama there. Cebulski really getting himself onto the curbs, really getting nice and committed. He wants to get into this P5, maybe P4. He can see Scrimmer's car ahead of him. It's driving him forward to get this position. Two Ferraris chasing down the Aston Martin that sits in P number 4 right now. Paul Sims drawing ever closer with what will be one more lap to try and get this done.
Yeah, that won't be long. And of course, with each corner that goes past is one less opportunity for these drivers to make that move. So cheer on your favourite one and hope that they come out on top, because they haven't got long left to go. Final lap of the race, round of 1 of TSRC Super Sprint Season 2 is underway here at Kyalami. Egner leads, seems secure for the victory. Same to Ceridi and Capitoni at Cencelli in that fight for the podium. But this fight for 4, Scrimmer, Sims and Cebulski at the Triple S contingent of 4, 5 and 6. Well, let's see what they can get up to with only a couple corners left to go.
Yeah, Cebulski trying to go in deeper and trying to cut his way through. I think he's had enough of being stuck behind Paul Sims. That was very close between the two of them, as Cebulski stuck his nose on the inside of the corner as they went up the hill. He's all over the back of Sims's car. Sims is going to really have to be vigilant in order for no incident to mar their races in this, I think, final lap. I looked on the track map, and at 20 odd seconds left, Egner crossed the line, so I think this is the penultimate lap.
No, the time ticks 0 now.
Okay, then this is the last lap with Dom Egner then.
Why wouldn't it be?
You know what, Zach? I've had enough. Oh dear. Oh, I don't know, it's been a day, but Dom Egner has had quite a day as well. He started P2. He made short work of Sydney, who was unfortunately stricken. Oh, and they've come together! Oh, I knew it! I thought it might happen between Cebulski and Sims, and they've had an incident between the two of them to round off the end of the race. Oh no, not the way to gain a position at all, but Dom Egner's going to weave his way across the line to win the opening round of the Super Sprint in glorious fashion. A fantastic race from the German driver. Ceridi and Cencelli make it an M4R 2 and 3. Fantastic job from them. Scrimmer there as well in P4. There's Rochi coming across the line. I think my driver of the day has to go to Capitoni Cencelli. In my opinion, he started P7, found his way onto the podium, and we didn't see much of him during the race, but he certainly made his presence known by getting his way onto that podium.
My driver today is Estevez, not for any particularly standout results, but because he's been bullied the whole race and miscard in P14. That is unfortunate for him, of course, so my condolences go out to him and his Bentley Continental GT3, which, by the way, is actually a really nice car. Sounds beautiful. When I was driving on ACC, I used to love driving in the Bentley. Never the quickest car, because obviously it isn't really. It's too big and bulky, really, to be very successful compared to, say, the likes of the Ferrari 296. But yeah, he goes to me. Egner, though, I have to say, remarkable stuff from him. What a race it was. Commanding. Didn't quite get the strategy perfect, but he made up for it well enough with some fast driving.
Yeah, and notice how throughout this whole stream I haven't said a single bad word about Zach, and yet he's always complaining that I'm horrible to work with, as Barbaro and a Foreman have a drag race all the way to the end of the line, and oh, that was very close between them as they came through. Fantastic finish there. But it is Dom Egner then on pole position. No, he won the race, of course, with Ceridi and Cencelli rounding off the top 3, rounding off that podium there. Fantastic races from the 3 of them. Then there's Scrimmer and Cebulski rounds off your top 5. Then there's Paul Sims. He'll be a little bit miffed to be finishing P6, but that happens in racing sometimes, with Rochi P7, Glanovsky P8. Then there's Redovid and Gardner, who round off the top 10. Then there is Foreman there, then Barbaro, Miller, Salvaneschi, Estevez, Lely, Sydney, Schmietner, and Troy, who didn't actually participate in the race, interestingly, just perhaps watched from the sidelines. But what a fantastic race there, Zach, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, it was absolutely sensational stuff. Really looking forward to seeing in a week's time when we head to the Red Bull Ring what these guys can conjure up because, well, I think we're in for an absolute belter of a season.
Yeah, I think so too. There's some fantastic tracks on there. A reminder then next week we go to the Red Bull Ring. Then the following week we head to Suzuka, which I'm unfortunately going to miss as it is my birthday. And then Barcelona we are at
Hang
for
on,
the final round.
your birthday's Suzuka,
My birthday's Suzuka,
the
yes.
25th.
The 25th.
You have the same birthday as my mum.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Look at that.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
I
I
was
feel
going to
sorry
say
for
something
her.
mean, but I'm. Oh, you. You know what? You know what they say. Never work with dogs or animals or children. That's what they say, isn't it? Um,
Well, you've got 8 days until I'm not a child, so
oh, your birthday's in April too. Oh my
yes.
word. Well, the birthday chat aside, that is going to be it from us here. It's been a fantastic opening round. I'm sure you've all enjoyed, whether you've been watching on the JP Broadcasting channel or on the TSRC channel there as well. We'll be back again next week, of course, for round number 2 of the Super Sprint. But until then, it has been myself, Zach Sweeney, and Kieran Sharp on cams here to bring you all the racing, and we wish you all a very good night.